For your appearance in Mortal Kombat Annihilation, you played Motaro. I'm not a big Mortal Kombat fan, but you had numerous fan questions about this character. Obviously, it's an iconic character for Mortal Kombat fans. Were you a fan of the video game prior to your audition?
You want the truth?
Sure.
um, no, not really. I mean, I've heard about it, but I'm not one of those guys like you. Okay. We are doers. Okay. You and I go do things. We wrestle, but I'm technically I'm a spaz. I mean, I'm really, really challenged when it comes to anything video games and stuff like that. So, I never really played. I love watching people play the games. Like my wife would be into it or my daughters, and I'd watch them fascinated. But, when I got a chance to audition, I had heard that Motaro was like one of the toughest characters to beat in the game. That's what I knew. So to be able to get that, to book that job is probably the greatest accomplishment I've had as an actor. I had to go through 5 different auditions, and they were actually going to try me out for Shao Kahn, which they did a much better job of casting with Brian Thompson. But I really, really enjoyed playing that character. I was really thankful to get it. I was traveling all over the world, being taken care of by the people in production. So it was just a real blessing.
Now, your makeup for that character was very extensive. What was a typical day in makeup for that?
Yeah, so every day I'd be up at about 4:30 in the morning, and they would literally prop up 2 like sticks underneath my arm, crutches basically underneath my arms, and they would start painting my makeup on the scales of the character, and then they'd put these horns on my head that were like spring-loaded horns, so they were really tight, and they gave me a massive headache every single day. I mean, wearing those horns was a nightmare. I had to keep pulling them off my head just to get a break. But anyways, those were on, and then they used these prosthetic like elbow spikes and on each elbow, and prosthetic teeth and such. And the pants was like the legs were just like a rubber, almost like a Batman suit that you would put on, that had the spikes on the knees and such, etc. So it was uncomfortable in the sense that for 18 hours, I couldn't lean up against anything. I couldn't touch anything, or the makeup would come off everywhere. So I was literally having to either stand still or sit down and not move anywhere. It was a challenge, but it was a great challenge.
And were they purposely trying to hide your nipples in that? A lot of fans wanted to know because you didn't appear to have any nipples as that character.
That's a first, man. I've never heard of that before.
Many people ask that question.
That's hilarious. You know what? That's so funny, because I worked on the last 2 Batman films that Joel Schumacher did. The one where he put the bat nipples on it.
Yeah.
So I think that's particularly funny. As far as I know, they weren't trying to get rid of the nipples, my nipples. If they did, they were doing it when I wasn't paying attention. So that's the best answer I can give you on that one. That's funny, though.
You had a famous line in the movie, "Too bad you will die." Did you expect that to be one of the iconic lines of the film?
You know what? I think my favorite line, I didn't expect that to be one of the lines, but to me, I was talking, my favorite line was I was talking to Shiva and one of the other generals, and I said, your hallowed position atop the worm pile appears to be most tenuous. Now your failure will be my victory. I remember that, and I love that line. That was like my favorite line.
And a fan wanted to know if Raiden or Shao Kahn or anyone pulled any ribs behind the scenes during the filming.
Brian Thompson and I were good friends because he actually worked with me at Conan. So he and I kind of traveled everywhere together, and more than anything else, we were just cutting up with each other because some of the other actors were just a little too serious. They weren't having fun. And to me, I'm all about having fun. You know what I mean? For crying out loud, it's Mortal Kombat and it's not brain surgery. So I wanted to make the character the most fun, exciting, but also vicious character. But yeah, I think Brian and I were teasing each other a little bit, but nothing too crazy.
Would that have been one of your highest paying Hollywood jobs that you ever had?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, commercials. Believe it or not, commercials can pay a lot of money if you do a national or an international. But by that, because of the residuals that came with it, yeah. I mean, when I opened my my mailbox and found my first residual check, I was stunned. So yeah, I did really well in that movie.
Yeah, from what I understand, I haven't seen it. I might see it now that I've been researching you. I'm kind of interested, but it wasn't a critical hit. But from what I understand, it was a big commercial hit.
You know, it opened up number one in the box office and then went in the toilet quickly thereafter. And I'll tell you why it did. It was a $70 million budget movie. And when I read the script just kicked major butt. It was awesome. It was fast moving. The characters were developed really well. The problem was the director was a first time director who was given a budget of $70 million, and he shot out most of the budget so that when it got to the end, which was the most epic fight scenes, my character lost about 10 minutes of screen time, and all the really bitchin' fight scenes was between Jax and Motaro. I was supposed to be knocking pillars down with my tail and all these crazy things, but also the storyline was taken away, like character development was taken away. So unfortunately, what could have been a majorly awesome movie didn't make a lot of sense, you know, and I can see why the fans were disappointed.
And another question from the fans is, have you heard any rumblings about a future Mortal Kombat movie now that special effects have grown again and it probably could be done a lot better now, possibly with you reprising a role?
I can answer that question, and I think it's a great question because when I did that, I mean, I remember having the computer generated graphic animation artist tell me that he said, you watch 15 years from now, they're going to do things that we can't touch, which one of them was I wanted to leave my hair down because I thought Motaro should have had long, crazy hair, you know, flying all over the place, and it would have made the character more vicious looking. But because the animation hadn't developed to that stage yet, they had to put my hair back because now you can see individual strands of hair. I mean, you can take a picture of an actor and make a whole movie out of the guy, you know, and age people right before your very eyes. So, yeah, it would be amazing if they did a remake. And yes, I've heard in the wind that they're going to do another one. And no, I don't think they're going to bring me back.
Well, you're one of the lucky ones that are blessed to have the same hair. All these years later, you haven't lost any of your hair.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free and help our channel grow. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for instant updates.